A little bit about Creuynni. When it comes to community companies, I've been with Incredible Wrexham since 2013, and then we became incorporated. So first we were an unincorporated association, which is basically we had like a constitution saying this is what we do, gardening. We're a group. Hello, and then I got incorporated. And as we got in, we managed 10 years without any kind of funding or anything hardly. And now we get funding, and the council paid to do workshops. So I'm kind of seeing both ways of being completely informal. We did completely fine, and then starting to become a bit more formal and get funding, which is quite nice. Then I was with Vic Studios, which is a company limited by guarantee, not for profit. I was a board director there. We got loads of funding for that. Yeah, the other directors were on it and got lots of funding. And then I've got Creuynni Wellbeing since about 2012-ish. I work self-employed, and then I employ others on a self-employed basis, like the people that do the meditations, for example. We work by donation, and I pay people on a self-employed basis. So that works fine. I can continue doing that, really. As well as with the meditations, I also work with, I was offering massage. A company was paying me to do massage. I really couldn't fit it in, so I self-employed and you're out for that. And then physiotherapy and massage Wrexham. That's just pure, like, these are the prices, here they are. So I support Brian's business with that. So basically manage that. And then I'm involved with Creating Well Health, which is another unincorporated in association. Basically, it's a gift economy farm, basically. And then Give and Take, which runs Freestore, does the same. And then I've also got Pension of Eco Company that I'm involved with, and that Linda's involved with as well, which is just it's not even an incorporated association. It's just such an informal network. It's a little bit about Creuynni. So the meaning is basically creating energy. It's got a really long story of where it come from, but essentially where it come from, with short words, it comes from one of the inner work sessions where I went to a place where we could co-create anything really quite rapidly, and I just came back coming more as possible. Creuynni, the place I went to was amazing. It was where I saw, before I even heard of eco villages, it was where I saw people living in what I now know are called eco villages. We're living in symbiosis with each other, symbiosis with nature, and just kind of more as possible. Creuynni. That's a very short of missing loads of things out. I'm open to Creuynni Wellbeing being just one organisation as part of a collaborative, but it could also be beneficial, as you know, the name's grown with Creuynni, for it to be the umbrella of the Creuynni and then have different organizations with it. It's quite nice. I see some people that are creating CICs. It just takes a while to build, and I've been really lucky to have been building it for some years now, so it'd be nice to keep building it. So talking of that, so began 2012, working at festivals, working from Wrexham, mostly with inner work sessions and workshops. Then expanding more into ecological work with permaculture, community gardening, free stalls. Expanded into massage 2018, and physiotherapy 2021 with Brian. And and more meditors and self-employed. I think you started about 2023. You getting corralled in into that. So something about Creuynni, which I think is quite unique in a way, is the way that, when people say they're holistic, this is very, very holistic. It's working on the physical level. You've got the massage, you've got lymphatic drainage, and then we've got reflexology. If you bring Emma in, we've got yoga. And things like that. And it's the emotional. So we've got now with CBT, I do acceptance and commitment therapy as well. CBT, NEM does things like that. With the inner work, we're working on the emotional, conscious, subconscious, universal conscious, spiritual. And then the links with eco villages and Incredible Wrexham and things like that, the more permaculture, working with nature, with other organizations, that's more ecological. And then also there's the energetic. So it really is holistic. So it can be like a little portal in a way for people to access. So it's the types of work I've done so far with Creuynni. So whereas physiotherapy and massage Wrexham is just fixed price, it's with Creuynni, it's been a little bit more flexible, less so with the massage now, but the inner work sessions, we got some fixed price, some are by donation and some by free, some are free, same as the workshops. and some are Skillshare. So it's kind of got a mix. Some grant funded work, like Denbighshire Partnership paid me in order to do massage and other holistic therapies. Wordswork CIC has paid me to do share meditation. Kim Inspires paid me to offer workshops. With Incredible Wrexham, there's funded workshops with Wrexham Council, Wrexham Food Partnership. And at the moment, we're linking in with social prescribing and the NHS to be like a referral agency. I've been linking up with social prescribing to do with that, and really don't need to become a CIC for that. They will link with us anyway. And with social prescribing, I thought that it would have to be we offered it for free, but actually they can refer to us even if this person's going to pay for our services. So that's quite nice. And then, you know, it could expand even more because I've got some audiobooks available online. We can work and offer help in that way, and also some video courses by free and donation as well. Thinking of doing that in a very, very simple links to YouTube kind of cheap, low cost way. So all of this I've done without getting into any debt. I've built up so slowly.
Well done, Catherine. You've done well. Honestly, I know you worked so hard. I know that.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
But yeah, so I'm a great fund of like doing cheap and then building the more money that comes in. So the current alignments with the CIC Community Interest Company. Community Interest Company is a bit like a charity, but it's very different as well. It's just basically saying we're doing stuff for the community, and by offering stuff to support health and well-being, we're a community interest in that vision, that alignment. So yes, so that's why I like CIC. And in a way, we don't really need to be a CIC. A community limited by guarantee is fine, or even just as we are is fine, you know. But I just feel like if the NHS is going to refer to us, if social prescribing is going to refer to us, I think CIC just gives it a little bit of extra reassurance. And that's what it is. So CICs are limited companies which operate to provide a benefit to the community they serve. So basically what we do, the purposes say is CIC is primarily one of benefit rather than private profit. So basically my aim really with all of this is not really to make loads of money, but we can pay ourselves. You can see that with charities. So for me, at least to begin with, it's more something like extra to add on what we've already got. And then if it grows and builds, bonus. And there is the opportunity, especially working together, for it to build. If that makes sense.
It does, absolutely.
Yeah, so we are allowed to get paid even very well. It's just the fact we're acting community interest. So there are other little options. I've tried to kind of like put it simply as I can. You've got the company limited by guarantee, that's not-for-profit social enterprise. So that's basically what Incredible Wrexham is, what Vic Studios was. And all it is, it's a company with shared agreements, and you have to pay £15 a year to HMRC and submit your accounts once a year, which I've got a great template. It's fairly easy to do. You have to pay tax, but like one of my advisors was saying, because we're paying ourselves, probably everything that comes in is going to be coming back out. We're not going to be paying very much tax at all because it's all like income and outcome and we balance. It can be governed cooperatively. So we are with Incredible Wrexham, we're governed cooperatively, can be quite nice. So I'm in two minds with that. I quite like Creuynni Wellbeing having the control that I've got. I've got Incredible Wrexham where it's completely equal, non-hierarchy. I quite like Creuynni Wellbeing, like I've got control. But at the same time, it'd be really nice just to share that control. And if we did, to do it cooperatively would be really nice. The only reason why I like control is because working in this kind of field, I find is really delicate. And I used to be like, whoever's meant to be is meant to be. Do you know what I mean? And not everyone has the same ethics. Not everyone has the same authenticity. And there was a time when I was a bit like, oh yeah, come and join in and come and do this. I hadn't seen them before, and I hadn't seen what they did. I was just kind of like very naive, and they did it, and it was like, oh my goodness, you know, when this work is very intimate, and yeah, you have to be very responsible. So that's the only reason, you know, I'd want to like make sure people are very highly ethical, very high quality to do this. But going cooperatively, I have an equal say with everybody, so I'd be okay with that. So I'm flexible to go either way with that, really. And then the charity, that's great. There's less tax. The NHS would love it because it's a charity. but it's very disempowering and very dangerous. You can lose control of it very easily. All you need is some trustees to come in that are unethical, and it could just completely take over, and they could be, bring in very unethical. It's really great in some ways, but it can't be a cooperative. It's a lot of power and a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of hoops as well. There's an IPS, which is pure cooperative, including BenCorp. That's really great because it's cooperative, but unfortunately, it's about £150 a year. It could be more depending what the income is, but it's 151 plus. So and it's very wieldy, very bureaucracy. So IPS, an eco-village, and they were like, "Oh, we kind of wish that we weren't." We hadn't said it like that because it's just a lot of faff, especially when you consider the other options can be run cooperatively. Unincorporated, associated, self-employed, that's the easiest. You don't have to do accounts, really, though it's good practice to do so. It's free, run it how you like. It's quite good, but it might be less of a, if a referral agency might be a little bit more hesitant, and the getting the grants would be harder. And then you've got CIC, which is just like community limited by guarantee, but it's a little bit more expensive, but not by much. It's something like £30, £45 a year. We'd have to pay for HMRC, and then we'd have to do a community interest statement each year, which is basically we help the community by doing this. We did so many workshops, we helped that many people, or just to prove that we did something good for the community. There's no evidence that a CIC would get more grant funding than community company limited by guarantee, or would get more referrals, really. But just something in me is like, oh, it does give it that bit more reassurance to funders or to referrals. It's like, oh, it's a community interest company, and they're kind of set up really to be like charities that are not charities, and they can be cooperatively governed. Yeah, but the cons are it is extra work to evidence benefit to community. But then I go, that's good practice as well. We're not the best at doing that with Incredible Wrexham. I must admit, we do loads of great stuff with the community, but we don't always list it. So it can be a great motivation for that, really. So those are different options. The CIC and the Company Limited Guarantee, the Business Wales can do it for free. But if we want cooperativeness, like really put into the main model articles, then I'd have to pay the Wales Cooperative Society to do it. But I don't mind paying that for that. Incredible Wrexham said, no, don't pay £150. Instead, we just have like the Company Limited Guarantee, which is like the main rules, and then we've got like a governing document underneath which people have to follow. But I think if we did do a CIC or CLG cooperative, I'd prefer to pay the £150 and have it for Creuynni Wellbeing and have it stuck in. Why? Because I really find the cooperatively I really like the sociocracy model. So sociocracy is basically, it's a consensus model. So everybody that meets has to agree that's the consensus. But sociocracy is like everybody has to agree, or at least not object. So it means everyone has an equal say, and as long as nobody objects, then something is passed, which is quite good. So somebody can be like, I don't really agree with it, but I'm not going to object to it. I'm not going to be a barrier, and you can let it go. So I really like that, and I think that saves things, getting taken over, and everyone have an equal say. So I like it. That's why I like the cooperative bit, and that's how we work together at Wrexham. It's a bit hard at sometimes, because sometimes decisions go round and round in circles until that consensus or no objections is made. But so far it's done really, really well. And I think it's brought to be ethical and also to have that sustainability input. And again, it's why I quite like being like the boss, because I can really have like a say in sustainability and ethical. But then I think if we have a cooperative, then I've got just as much say as everyone else. The other model rules that are kind of, they work more on a majority, and it just feels a little bit it's where you get politics, isn't it, and people banding together, and 3 against 2, and I'm not and then you got all the power dynamics. But in the sociocracy, it's like everyone's equal. Still the potential power dynamics and 3 against 2, but still you still got that. Lots of different potentials, one-to-one sessions, workshops, training, maybe even expanding to publishing and things like that. Potentially government procurement as well. I've got a link to be able to provide things to the government as well. So my main aims, although we could put them together. It's basically to support health and wellbeing in communities, or what Nem said, help the world be a more beautiful place and support excellent ethical practitioners in their work to assist others. Yeah, so in one way, like, you know, I've kind of reached the point where I'm okay, really. I can't say I've got like loads of income, but I've got more than enough, and I'm quite happy. So I'm either like, you know, think either semi-retiring or coming to do a CIC, because I really would like to support you, as I would, in doing your amazing work, and I think we've got a lot to offer between us. So yeah, if you've got any questions, just shout them out. And I've almost finished. If you were thinking, oh, we'd like to do this, I'd like to do this, it's kind of things that would be needed to be involved. My aim would be like, you can be as much or little involved as you like. You know, like if you might be like, right, I want to do loads, I want to seek out this funding, use Creuynni Wellbeing as a vehicle and get some funding to do this project, whether it's to open up a centre, whether it's to do a load of workshops, whether it's, you know, whatever the funding is for. Utilize what work has been done already as a backup, and yeah, do that. Or you might be like, oh, I just want to offer workshops here and there if the opportunity arises. I think for ease, everyone just to work on a self-employed basis with their own insurance. It just makes it easier, at least at first. Unless say we did go massive, then maybe we look at something else. But it's just easy. Yes, you don't have the self-employed, you have the benefits of like holiday pay and things like that, but you can organize your own holidays. You don't have to go to somebody and go, oh, please, can I have a holiday? You know, you'd organize your work schedule, and you'd probably get paid at least twice as much as you would being employed by someone else. So it kind of, I find it balances out. I've tried both, but both is good in their own way. Like really like for everyone to be self-managed, you know, with support from other people. So it's kind of like you're self-managed, you've got your own power, you've got your own authority, but you've got support from other people. And in that way, it's kind of like, oh, these are the kind of needs for the community. You could be like, oh, this is what I want to offer, and it kind of just combines. And then you can also use that for funding. There's a bit more higher responsibility, like so directors, it would need at least 3 directors really, according to Business Wales for some reason. It depends. You read some, and it's actually you only need 1 director, but I think maybe they're thinking about for funders. And they're kind of like, it doesn't mean they're better than anyone else, any other members. It's just more that they're the stewards. They're legally responsible. They have to make sure those accounts are in each year, or you know, whoever's the treasurer has put those accounts in, and people are acting responsibility. They're not siphoning off funding for, I don't know, chips or something. I don't know, whatever you'd be funding it for. And then you probably at least need to come at least 4 meetings a year, really, just 4 meetings a year just to make decisions. That's it. And I really like in Wrexham that the members and the directors all have equal vote. If you turn up, or if you read the meeting notes afterwards, you've got an equal vote. I do really like that. And then practitioners is just, the needs are to be as ethical for those you work with, and to turn up really for anything we organise. I think that's it. So then it would be like things to think about is just, you know, would you like to be involved? How? What would you like to do? What questions do you have, and which structure?